I am privileged to be associated with today's memorial lecture, particularly because of the importance of the subject and the fact that Shri Pranab Mukherjee is going to speak on it. Shri Mukherjee has been a parliamentarian for several decades and has served as the leader of the House in both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha for 13 years. Besides his long innings in the Parliament, he's been a cabinet minister and headed several ministries for nearly 25 years. He has steered the ministries of Industry, Steel, Mines, Commerce, Revenue, Banking, Shipping, Transport, Defence, served as the Deputy Chairman of the Planning Commission for 5 years, and has twice been the External Affairs Minister and thrice as the Finance Minister of India. And for 5 years, till summer last year, he held the highest constitutional position in the country as the President of India. Shri Mukherjee has invaluable experience about the functioning of our Parliament and the working of the Union Government. And from the Rashtrapati Bhavan, he has had a rare view of the functioning of our Constitution. There could decidedly not be any other person who is better positioned to speak on the subject of today's lecture. India's population represents nearly 1/6 of the human race. Our democratic system, the largest in the world, mandates free and fair elections, an independent judiciary, civilian control over the military, a free press, and the fundamental rights which are secured by the Constitution. The Parliament of India is the cornerstone of our democracy. The present government was established consequent to the 16th general elections held in 2014, and Shri Narendra Modi is the 14th Prime Minister of India. It is a matter for rightful rejoicing that in the past 70 years, despite enormous ideological and other differences amongst the political parties, we have had transitions at the federal level from one regime to another. Elections to the state legislatures, literally hundreds in number, have also led to orderly changeovers. It is a matter for enormous satisfaction that no legitimate political party anywhere in the country can complain of having been denied the opportunity of participating in the electoral process. Commentators on the functioning of our parliamentary system have invariably pointed out that in the early years after independence, particularly during the period of the interim government 1947 to 52, and of the first two parliaments, both the houses of parliament conducted their business with decorum, made laws, and deliberated with high seriousness on the challenges then facing the country. The parliamentarians came fully prepared to participate in discussions which were sober and productive, perhaps also because both the houses were chaired by experienced and respected leaders who were altogether non-partisan in steering the proceedings. Around the early 1990s, our parliamentary system witnessed the emergence of state, level and regional parties, which played a major role in the formation of governments in the states. And not long thereafter, we saw the emergence of coalition governments at the national level, and the Parliament debating diverse laws, diverse new subjects because of its changed composition. In the past years, there has been growing criticism about the functioning of the Parliament. A major dissatisfaction has related to the disorderly conduct of the parliamentarians and the day-to-day disruptions in both the houses. It has been reported that due to the repeated disturbances, the 15th Lok Sabha lost no less than 600 hours of its valuable time. Criticism has also been made that instead of contributing to meaningful debates on serious problems facing the nation, parliamentarians representing certain parties have been making speeches which disturb harmony and promote divisiveness. Other areas of criticism and condemnation relate to the continuing complaints about political parties and their leaders being involved in corruption and unlawful practices which have led to the criminalization of politics. Questions have also been repeatedly raised why the political parties choose to disregard the law and continue to retain in their folds persons who have known criminal backgrounds. There is also considerable criticism about the Parliament's failure to discharge its responsibility to the electors and to act as a watchdog to enforce accountability and responsibility in the functioning of the executive. The opposition is also criticized for resorting to endless protests and demonstrations and for failing to effectively play its rightful role. Overall, there is an enhancing perception that the Parliament is losing its supremacy and esteem. Considering the developments in the past decades, there is growing concern that unless the functioning of the parliamentary system becomes far more responsive and accountable, a situation may arise in which the citizenry begins to lose faith in the political process. Such an eventuality would indeed be disastrous. Needless to stress, timely steps shall need to be initiated to ensure against the emergence of an environment in which political parties and their leaders are looked upon with cynicism and distrust. Among the many initiatives which may require to be taken, perhaps the most urgent measures would be needed for reducing corruption and the role of money and muscle power in the electoral process, introducing transparency in the funding of political parties, ensuring that the funds of political parties are subjected to regular audit, effective legal steps being taken to ensure that all political parties hold internal organizational elections and that candidates with criminal backgrounds are not allowed to participate in the electoral process. It should be the collective responsibility of all the political parties to take every required step for restoring what Jawaharlal Nehru called the majesty of the Parliament. The media can play a truly useful role if it decides to keep close watch and provide objective comments and analysis. It may not be out of place to reiterate that even after 7 decades of national governance, nearly 1/5 of our population still subsists below the poverty line. There are serious gaps in the health and education sectors, and significant unemployment continues. Our Parliament must deliberate on all vital issues and effectively guide the executive to build a prosperous, strong, stable, and vibrant India. Thank you.